Welcome back to the Kaspa Silver YouTube channel. In today's video, I want to go over with you guys the recent 10 blocks per second roadmap that has now been announced. So yesterday, Michael Sutton released this post and said later tonight with this video clip that I'm going to play for you guys. And a lot of speculation was going around on what this video might mean, and some people were actually predicting that this could be a 10 blocks per second announcement. And later that night, this was announced, unveiling the crescendo hard fork roadmap, 10 blocks per second and more. And if you don't know what a crescendo is, this is the loudest point reached in a gradually increasing sound. So that's why the video had that audio playing, because it was basically a crescendo happening there where the sound was increasing until the loudest point. And this is because blocks per second for Kaspa are going to be forever pretty much increasing to eventually one day possibly hit the goal of 100 blocks per second. So they finally gave us a roadmap. So now we have a better idea of when 10 blocks per second is going to be launching. So here's the overview of what basically has happened so far with 10 BPS. At a high level, here's how we envision the steps needed to implement such an acceleration on Kaspa's main network. The process involves the following iterative phases. Launch and stabilize. Launch a testnet with the desired block rate and related network settings and work on stabilizing it. This has been accomplished with testnet 11, the existing 10 BPS Kaspa testnet, which has been operational since January 7th, 2024. Identify bottlenecks. Iterative improvement. Repeat the above until the minimal specs are affordable enough and low enough to satisfy the decentralization requirement for the mainnet. We are here, getting close to the convergence of this optimization loop. Approximate timeline for this is 2 months from now. Enhance user experience. Once performance requirements are settled, perfect the node software to the level of user experience required by mainnet operators. That is, some minor problems that can be neglected in a testnet setting need to be addressed here, which is 3 months from now. This is what's next in the pipeline. Additional features. Implement any additional hard fork features and deploy them on testnet 11. Target timeline is 4 to 5 months from now. Some features might be excluded to fit the timeline. Feature freeze hard fork version. Implement the hard fork transitioning version. Deploy transition testnet. Deploy the transition version on testnet 10, 1 BPS testnet to simulate the mainnet transition. Mainnet deployment with hard fork transitioning activated 1 to 2 months later. So to sum this all up, basically 10 blocks per second is pretty much going to be here by the very end of 2024 or possibly Q1 of 2025. And that is pretty much the earliest that we can expect it is the end of this year. Like I'm thinking December time. And then the latest that we can expect it is Q1 of 2025. I also do want to note that once they launch 10 blocks per second, like the update that you have to update your nodes to 10 BPS, the actual 10 blocks per second still won't happen 1 to 2 months later. You could see here, it says this mainnet deployment with hard fork transitioning activated 1 to 2 months later. A lot of people are getting confused on how this transition will work. So basically what will happen is they're going to release an update, and in that update is going to contain the 10 blocks per second rules, but those rules still won't initiate until 1 to 2 months after that point of the update was released, because this will allow for all the users to transition over and hopefully no one get left behind, which we've already seen a lot of people transition over to Rust, and it was pretty much a successful transition. So it does look like we have enough people that are active and ready to make any switch to a better version of Kaspa. And this also will not result in brand new coins existing or you having to do anything on your end. If you are just a normal Kaspa holder, you don't run a node, you don't run a miner, anything like that. If you're just holding Kaspa in your wallet, you pretty much don't have to do anything. The transition will be smooth. So I will leave the link to this article down below because it will go into a lot more details of what's going on here. But this is really, really great to see that we finally have a roadmap for 10 BPS, and we can kind of expect when we're going to see 10 BPS on mainnet, and it should be Q1 of 2025. And this is really, really great for Kaspa, as this is pretty much the next step in making Kaspa usable for thousands of transactions to be possible on the network per second. So really great to see this. And if you don't already know, you can already visualize the 10 blocks per second testnet. If you go to kaspang.org, this visualizer is currently showing testnet 11, which is currently having 10 BPS running. And a lot of people are thinking that the developers are taking too long to implement this, but you guys have to understand that doing a hard fork is something pretty serious for a network. You do not want to have any kind of bugs, and this testnet 11 has been running since January of this year, and so we're pretty much 8 months into this running, and so far everything has been going smoothly, and they just continuously keep upgrading this testnet to make it as good as possible, so that when they do launch it on mainnet, no one will experience any kind of bugs. Because the worst thing you would want to happen is we have to do some kind of rollback of the chain, similar to like what Ethereum did when they had their hack that happened back then, and then you have Ethereum Classic today, and then obviously the normal Ethereum that everyone knows today. But that hard fork was a result of a rollback that happened because a hack happened on the networks. So we really want to make sure that things are done right. And as I've said in the past, Kaspa is a long-term play. It really requires a lot of patience. And if you struggle with having patience, Kaspa for sure is a project that's going to teach you to have patience, because great things come to those who wait. And I'm currently not worried at all. The development cycle has been going pretty well, and at least we are getting some kind of updates, and we're not just kept completely in the dark. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. And before we go, if you have not considered getting yourself a Tandem Kaspa branded card set yet, you can get one right now. The limited edition, they restock these, and there's 217 left. If you use the code Kaspa Silver at the checkout, you'll get 10% off your order. And this is a great way to store your Kaspa offline and off exchanges. This is a really, really good wallet to use when you're just getting started and you probably don't have a lot of money that you want to be holding in cold storage. I recommend, if you do start to get a lot more money, that you do look into other cold storage wallets so that you are able to spread your funds around with different wallet providers. But Tandem is a really, really great starter wallet to at least make sure that you are holding your cryptocurrency offline and off exchanges. So thank you again so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new around here, and as always, don't be average, be different.